Hello, everyone, and welcome back to KDDL3, the officially 8-year workshop. I'm very grateful that we are back here with you after our very adventurous last 9 months, and I'm very grateful that you are patient with us and with the Guardians in showing up. We keep showing up. You keep showing up. So we are here tonight, or early this morning actually, on June 4th of 2023, because the Guardian said there are some very specific activations coming through in the grids, and we wanted to bring them to you live this evening, or this morning, as the case may be. We started this evening, last evening, and it moved into this morning. So I want to give you a little bit of parameter of why we've been away for so long. And most of you have seen a little bit of posting about the Hurricane Ian that hit in September, the end of September of last year. And the day after, we had a major flood, and literally not only our offices, but our homes were also flooded out of them. So we had to relocate and all of that, and rescue all of the freedom teachings and all of the Tantriyoga teachings and all of the KDDL teachings. So it's been quite the adventure in controlled chaos. But we are back and stabilized in that. It took us a little bit longer than expected because, well, the flood is one thing, but then within 3 days, mold starts, and rescuing whatever you can. We did that for about 6 months. Exposure to mold and things while attempting to rescue whatever we could out of the properties that were flooded creates other type of problems, health problems. So then by about the end of November of last year, we managed to get a lot of the things out and to salvage a lot of what we needed to salvage. And then I ended up getting the flu, which I tend to have a bit of lung issues to begin with. So that floored me for about 2 weeks. And then about a month after that, not even, it was Christmas Eve. The whole house ended up getting COVID-19. And that took us out for about another month. So this has been a progressive series of controlled chaos. But we're moving back into high levels of function through this whole time, despite the more than inconvenience of having to relocate everything because of the floods, and then dealing with the residual health issues that were, connected to that experience. We have still been managing to bring through information from the Guardians. We were working on something last June, before the flood in June of 22, and it was pieces of information that they hadn't given me the full say layout of what this was. It was a new set of activations that they simply called the Blue Lotus Amente treaties activations. And I'm like, what is that? So there was a whole bunch of information pertaining to that I was getting pieces of before the flood and still getting pieces of during and after that period. It is this information that we're going to share with you tonight, and it's quite exciting. And I think I'm going to start our discussion with looking back again at, we've looked at this numerous times, the resolution to the 3 octant rounds, where we have the 0 octant cycle, and this 8 years, the 8 years here. Then you have round 1, predation cycle, 8 years. Round 2, the resolution octant. This is where we left off in our last workshops last year. And then over there is the R3, the redemption octant 8-year cycle set. We're down in through here now. And this is where the information that we're going to be speaking about this evening or this morning isn't on this chart yet, and there's actually too much of it to put on this chart. So the next couple of diagrams or charts that you will see have to do with taking just this column here, which is column 1, column 2, column 3, the column 3 one, which is round 2 resolution octant, which is 8 of 2016 or 8 of 2024. We're going to take this and look at the expanded version of it to see where these new activation sets start. And one of the exciting things about it is, and I didn't see this coming, but I have been wondering for a very long time, whatever happened to the sphere of Amente? Remember the race morphogenic field that we're all supposed to connect to in order to get back out of here in ascension? whatever happened to the Ark of the Covenant? Because we were dealing with those two things very much so in the Voyagers period and the Freedom Teachings period. But then, after the chaos in 2012, in May of 2012 and after that, we hadn't heard much about either of those things. Well, that's because it was on stealth. There were things occurring in relation to those things. And now we get to find out a little bit of what that was about. And it's actually quite exciting information. So I think we'll reconfigure here. And Jan is here with us. And it's another one of those. He's going out like hopefully we'll finish this before he has to leave for the plane. But every time, Jan's been here for 3 months. And they always give, if they're going to give a live stream, it's right when he's leaving, because he takes the activation and then brings it across, back to Norway with him. So we're doing another one of those. But there will be, I do have a series of diagrams to go through, or charts, not so much diagrams, but charts. And some of them I'll read just pieces of, because it's just to let you know placeholding. But before we get into those, we're going to see a few of them, and then we're going to do the activation itself. So we make sure, that we are both here to do the Niedra stance and projecting that activation to you. So I guess we can switch. You want to say something? You can share the mic.
I'm just happy to be here. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Right. Do you want to go on the milers? Yeah, thanks, honey. Yeah, just move that one up a little bit. Yes, please. Yep, there we go. That's good. Alrighty, so we're in column 1, column 2. We're in column 3, which is 8 of 2016 through 8 of 2024 starts the next column, right? So we go all the way down to where 8 of 2024 would be here, but it starts the next column. We're in this period here. And see, 8 of 2023, we're not there yet. So we're here, 5 of 23. All right. Now, this doesn't tell you very much about what has just occurred in like May 22nd through 27th of 2023, and also what's happening now, June 4th of 2023. So we're going to look at the next two charts that are just the expansion of this column here, this one octant cycle here. And we'll see some of the things that are going on in this period that we are in right now. Next one, please, Annie. Thank you. Wow, they're not showing. This is the highlighter on the computer. That's not working, is it? Oh boy. Okay, that's all right. I have this on paper, fortunately, so I can read where you can't see it on there. I apologize for these. That's supposed to be transparent. That's the highlighter function on the computer print. So I will just have to do this. It's not that it's small. It's that the yellow highlighter is making it where you can't read what's behind it. And that's not good. No, I can read it, I think. Alrighty, let's see. So anyway, here is the expanded version. Can you kind of shift that up, so they can see all the way down to the bottom? Okay, 2023. Yep. All right. So that from the top all the way down to here, that's that full column, the third column. So can we bring it back down? Because I'm going to be going back and forth on it. Yeah. And I'll try to read some of these off of the paper and not use that function again on there, apparently. Okay. So here we just basically have, now you've seen some of these before, and I've read these before, so I'm not going to read every one of them. This is resolution to 3 octant rounds. This is the second octant cycle of the Crystal River Failsafe host. It's R2, which is 8 of 2016 through 8 of 2024, and that is column 3 on that larger chart. Okay, it's the R2 resolution octant, D2 telluric. It's the storm's occupation period, positive entrainment, in what's called trine drawdown state 2. So that's that whole column. Now we've looked at these before. This began, we've read all of these before, so I'm not going to go through them all again. Here is the big one where you had Mug 75 in November of 2016, and that was where the Trumpet Jehovian 1 Firestorm 1 released, and that's where we got into the 7 TJ firestorms that we're still processing. We're right down to the end of them. In last November, the TJ7 fired, so we're in the process of clearing that final one, finally. So here basically said, that just said the Urata Awakening. It's like Reclamation 5, Urata Awakening. All right, I'm not going to go through every one of these. I'm a little disappointed that it came out like this, that we did, you can't read them through the yellow, because it's supposed to be yellow highlighter. So I will just come down to the most important ones of where we're at. And that's okay. So we're down through 2016, through 2017, through 2018. Here's where some of the things started. I want to show you over here where you can't read these, and this is really frustrating. It's almost frustrating enough where I might go pull this, like take these off. When we take a break, I'll go in and pull this without the yellow highlighter on it, so you can see what these words are. This says FOI 1, which is the Flames of Urea currents, FOI 2, FOI 3, FOI 4, FOI 5, etc. So it's showing where the FOI currents come in on, during the magnetic peaks of the August of each of the years. What I want to do is get down to where we are now. Can we come down here a little bit, please? Yeah, I'm just going to have to pull this one again without these on, because it's too hard to read it with it, and I'll leave it to go back and forth. So let's see, 2022. 9. Here's where we have, it starts the August of 2022, which was subcycle 15, Transfigurations 15, and the outpicturing of Transformation 7. And this was Transformation 7. That's FOI 6, it would say there, Flames of Urea 6. Here's where we had the Hurricane Ian. AO means Alpha Omega, wormhole things are what actually created the Hurricane Ian, which was a Category 4. And that's where we had the 100-year Mayaka flood. And what the Guardians called the big grid clear that happened at the Cathedral 1 grids here in Florida. And this is also where Crystal Bridgeway 1, which is this location that we filmed from, began the process of opening into M31, which is Andromeda Galaxy, the Sphere of Amente. Now here, this whole set of things, the activations that are taking place here, have to do with reconnection to the Sphere of Amente. The Sphere of Amente is the race morphogenic field for the angelic human race, for the three seedings of the angelic human race. To reconnect to the Sphere of Mente is done through the Ark of the Covenant portal passages, and that's what seeding 3 was all about, was reestablishing that connection to the Sphere of Mente. Now, the Sphere of Mente had been stored in M31 Andromeda because of the damages that were done in seeding 1 and seeding 2 to Earth's planetary grids here. In this stellar activation cycle, we began the process of bringing the Sphere of Mente back down into Earth's core. But because of the things that have transpired during this invisible war that started basically in 2000, when the stellar activation cycle started, since that time, there's been a progression of the invisible war. And we've had to, as of May of 2012, had to relocate the Sphere of Mente back out of Earth's core and back to M31 Andromeda. So the Sphere of Mente has been moved to M31 Andromeda, Eartha 3 core. To connect to that, there is something called the 3 stages of the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant portal passages have been reconnected and moved. Last time they were coming down in Ireland. We had moved them before from Giza, Egypt, to Ireland. And now there's 3 different spaces that they're anchoring into. Now, these things were part of, and are part of, the external creation, cheilontic aspects of our planet and our galaxy and M31 galaxy. They connect into the plasmas through the Crystal Bridge passage. So there is something quite exciting going on with what is happening with the planetary grids. Because of the invisible war that has been going on. Progressively, we were unable to use the Amente gate sets, and we were unable to use the what is called the Ancestation Passage, which are the Aurora gate sets. And when we had at MUG 75 in 2016, when the trumpet started, that is when we got access to the Crystal Bridge Passage and the Apharia spectra frequencies. Those are the frequencies that actually have the ability to turn back around the Ancestation Passage that got reversed in May of 2012, and to reopen all of the gates before. So we are in a very special time now with the reactivations of the Ancestation Passage and the 5 Aurora platforms that go with it, and also all of the Amente gate sets, which we'll look at. But I may have to go through these again, because we just finished these today, so we didn't have a chance to see what this was going to look like up on the board, which is not readable with that highlighter on it. So what I want the period of time that we're going to look at in the next one, which I hope is more readable, is down in this period, where here we're here at see, I can't even read this. I'm sorry. I do apologize for this. We didn't have a chance to check this out before the fact. So anyway, I am gonna take a break and pull this again without the highlighters on it. Can we put the next one up, honey, please? I want to see. I'll have to pull these two again and just get the highlighter off it. It doesn't usually do that. These are almost as not much, you know. Okay. All right, so anyway, the FYI 1, the 12 primary current events of the Blue Lotus Amente Final Rescue Mission runs from 8 of 2011 through 11 of 2023 and beyond. Okay, this is the completion of the 550 million year ago Amente Rescue Mission, which is called Host 3, and it includes the 11 2020 plus Blue Lotus Amente treaties, the 12 2021 plus Final Emerald Covenant Restatement on Earth, and the 11 2020 through 5 of 2033 M31 Blue Lotus Future Tether Activations 1 through 3. So there are these series of events that are taking place. And again, I'm going to have to pull this one again too, because it's doing the same thing. The yellow highlighter is just blurring it out where you can't read it properly. But the contemporary onset of the Eternal Internal First Creation Crystal River Failsafe Eternal Host 1, which was 8/2011 through 11/2016 plus. So you had 1 through 8, 2011, MUG 51AB, the Crystal River Failsafe Eternal Host 1 triggers on Earth, Crystal River Failsafe host the Covenant of Alhambra, and the 5 RRR triggered in our local Phantom Milky Way Procyon Galaxy and on Earth. MUG 51AB was the Gridwhack Xeon Dark River Passage entrainment. It triggered Restoration Cycle Set 2, initiates Autoimmune Response 3, the Crystal River Failsafe host, and the Alhambra Covenant, and upsteps to Cosmoversal Level 6, and the first Cosminus Alhambras Plasma Flows, and GA upstep 14, which was the Cosmea Alhambra Majestory Councils of Cosminus, the AMCC. So that was the first. The second of the most important primary current events was the May 25th through 28th of 2012, MUG 56AB. This was the Crystal Bridge Passage early anchors and opens on Earth in response to opening of the Dark River Passage into Earth's Gruel and resultant spin reversal of the Ancestation Passage. This happened at MUG 56AB, which was called the Gridstorm Great Split, and that's when the green and violet rings of the Aquiferian shield went into reversal, and that's when the split, literally, between what used to be Azurite Press and Reyes Productions occurred. Okay, so that's also, that gets into other things, Mirror in the Sky Deflection Field 2, Restoration Cycle Set 2, Early Engages, Autoimmune Response 4, the Cathedrals activate, the Ancestation Passage reverses, the Dark River Passage and Crystal Bridge Passage open. It's the first FE Eternal Internal, It's the first crystal bridge passage transplanial plasma flows, and this was during Slider's 12 parts free. So this was also GA 19, and that means when you see like in the pink the GA with a number, that's the Guardian Alliance upstep. So it's a cup, it's a council upstep for the Guardian Alliance. This was the Cosmea Aureus Crystal Ares, the Tantra Gold and Silver one AMCC. All right. Now number 3, we had 11 A through 9 to 2016. This was Mug 75, the big one. This is when we ended up with concurrent activation of the 5 cycle sets of re-evolutionary rise reconnection, because it triggered in our local Phantom Milky Way and Procyon galaxy and on Earth in response to the TJ1 firestorm, the Theoseed Nomi seed activation. Okay, the TJ1 first released. That's when number 45 president was elected. It was autoimmune response 7, the Nomi seed, reclamation 5, the Urata cycle, or Urata awakening began, early engaged. And this was universal 7. And this is the first Uralay Conservatory in Wycan. This is where Guardian Upstep 30, which was the ETYAC, the Eleniotopia Urea Alhambra councils from the future Wycan, engaged. Now here's where we get into the Blue Lotus sets, and these were the ones that they've been teaching me about only for like the last maybe year and a half, and it was very piecemeal, so it's starting to come together where they're showing me where these pieces fit. So, contemporary onset of the Blue Lotus Amente final rescue mission, April of 2020 through 11 of 2023 and forward. So number 4 of the 12 is 4/22/2020, which was Mug 88. This was Earth Day 50. That was Hostmasters 1. The Ancient Stasia Passage initiates. The Blue Lotus Amente begins reopen. And Guardian Upstep 35C, which were the Nomia Urea Alhambra, the first absolute Bright Flower Founders Councils, the Nomi of the Wycan, engaged. Number 5 of the 12 is May 22 through 27, 2020, Mug 89. This was the Blue Lotus Clemency petitions begin. This is Mug 89. This also was Chevron 4, Solar Ring Wave 13, and Solar Ring Wave 5 out picture. And when you see all these little ones, these are keeping track of some of the other activations that we've talked about before, and we have marked on that larger chart that shows the 4 columns. So I won't read all of those right now, but they all correspond with those smaller things that are already on that we've read on that chart before. So now we're on, let's see, this one. This is where we are now. And again, it's hard to read on these, so I'm going to have to pull these again without these. All right, 11, 20, 90. All right, here we are. This is number 6 out of the 12. Number 6 is 11, 8 through 9, 2020, Mug 90. The Blue Lotus Amente Treaties and Blue Lotus Future Tether initiate. This says ARC, ARC 1, Caves, A1, reopen. Let me see if I can read it from here. A1, reopen, 11, 2020 through 2317 AD. Now these are the A1 is the Aroniwa cave cities. So when we see these Blue Lotus Mente treaties and the Blue Lotus Future Tether line, this is where the Aurora platforms, the 5 Aurora platforms that correspond with the Ancestasia Passage, begin opening into the Crystal Bridge Passage and the 4 transposition platforms that go with the Crystal Bridge Passage. And they open progressively one part of the Ark of the Covenant portal passages. So Ark 1 portal passages will be the caves. It's the A1 caves platform. And they had begun opening early on, like in, what was that, 2007, I think, but they closed pretty quickly. But now they will be reopening from 11 of 2020 through 2317 AD. So Arc 1 caves go to, from where we are, to 2317 AD. That's one part. That's the first part of the Ark of the Covenant portal passage. All right, and the A1 platform is known as Aruniwa Cave Cities. So we have Mug 90, TJ5 Firestorm, Chevron 4 and Trains TJ4. This is where number 46 was elected. And GA Upstep 36, Hostmasters, TAEFW, Stairstep, Masters Councils, M31, M33, and YKIN. TAEFW is Transplanial Association of Eternal Free Worlds. So that's what that one is. So that was in 11 of 2020. Now, number 7 out of the 12 is March 1 through 2, 2021, Mug 92. It says Blue Lotus Future Tether Activation 1 and Arc 2 Clouds. A2 reopen 3/2021 through 26/17 AD. Note A2 equals Asalion Cloud Cities. Mug 92 Blue Lotus Tether Activation 1 and GA 37, Upstep 37, to Hostmasters Aria Silent Sound Collectives, Illuminaire Sound Masters Councils of the YKIN FE Consciousness Field. So this one that happened in March of 2021 was where it's the second part of the Ark of the Covenant portal passages. It is the Ark 2 Cloud Cities that runs through the Aurora 2 platform, Asalion Cloud Cities. And this constitutes Blue Lotus Tether Activation 1. So that's the first activation of the tether line starting. Now we have 5/22 through 27, and when you have the 5/20s in each year, they are the Hitharo electrical peaks. So 5/22 through 27, 2021, Mug 93, Blue Lotus Future Tether Activation 2, and Arc 3 Oceans, A3 reopen, May of 2021 through 2976 AD. Note A3 equals Aquiferian Ocean Cities. So here again, we have the third part of the Ark of the Covenant portal passages open through the A3 platform, which is the Aquiferian Ocean Cities platform of the Ancestation Passage. And here we have, it's Mug 93. It's Blue Lotus Tether Activation 2, which is called the Blue Lotus Amente Passage Blend Activation. And we have Chevron 5, Solar Ringwave 14, and Solar Ringwave 6 Out Picture, TJ4 ends, and Transposition Platform 2, Density 2, Reservoirs, D4 open. Here we go on number 9 out of 12. At least these are a little bit easier to read because I can see almost through those. So we're on 9 now. This is 12 through 16 of 2021, Mug 95. From 11/2020, Blue Lotus Amente treaties engage, for before they initiated, now they engaged, and the final Emerald Covenant of Aramatena Lyra, restatement and Earth initiates. So here we have the final Emerald Covenant restatement on Earth. This will be the final one on Earth. We are at the beginning of the end of seeding 3 of the angelic human lineage on Earth. There won't be a 4th seeding, and this is where the ascension gates will open, so those who can and those who desire will be able to make it back through the sphere of Amente, through the Ark of the Covenant, to the sphere of Amente, to get back into the organic path of evolution for the angelic human lineage, which was through M31 Andromeda Galaxy, or Aquinas, as it was originally known. Okay, so there is 9. Now 10. Can we move these down a little, honey? Thank you. 10. Okay, here we go. All right, 10 is June 13th, 2022. Mug 98. The Blue Lotus Mente treaties activate. So here they engaged. Now they activated. And the final Emerald Covenant restatement Earth engages. All right, so that's done in June of 2022. Here's where we had the 9/28 through 29, 2022, Mug 100 AB. AO Hurricane Ian, Category 4, 100-year flood, Mayaca, the big grid clear via Cathedral 1, and Crystal Bridgeway 1 to M31 Amente Sphere initiates. So this space is the Crystal Bridgeway 1 site location. That began opening to M31 Sphere of Mente in when this flood and hurricane occurred. So that began opening here when the grids were being cleared at the Cathedral 1 set, which is not too far from here. Okay, then we have 11, A through 9, 2022, last year. Mug 101, this was TJ7 Firestorm. Remember, there's only 7, thankfully, trumpet Jehovian seals. So this was TJ7 released. And here we had Chevron 6 in trains, TJ6, so that's good. It's going to start spinning down TJ6. So this is the last one that we have to contend with. And that's why they're starting to let us know what was going on with all of the Blue Lotus and Mente things going on behind the scenes, because we had to let these things clear in the grids with the chevron bursts before we could access any of these frequencies. And we're coming right into the stretch now of finally getting to where we're going to clear TJ7. And that means we don't have to worry about the trumpet Jehovian pulses anymore, because the chevrons shut them down. Next one, please. Yep. Yeah, it's not quite as bad. Okay. Yeah. So this is this page here that I'm going to read to you now is the last one we're supposed to do before we take the break and then move things around so we can do the Niagara stand for you. And since I need to, I'm going to pull these pages where it's hard to read them, I'm going to pull them and cover them really quick when we get back from that. So I'll add that onto that because it's just frustrating for all of us where you can't read what's up there because of the blurring. But anyway, I'll try to read this here. This is the last page in this section. And it says, okay, so this out of the 12, this is 11A. And this is May 22nd through 29th, 2023, which was just passed, right? This is Mug 102A. It's called Blue Lotus Future Tether Activation 3. Anshatesa Passage reopens for the first time since it went into reversal in May of 2012. And the Amente Sphere, I'll read this from here, Amente Sphere, Adashi Bypass Winterlands, A4 platform opens May 2023 to 3033 AD. Note, the A4 platform, Aurora 4 platform, equals the M31 Adashi Temples, Danue Sheva Winterlands Passover via the Adashi Passage bypass to M31 Eartha 3 Adashi Temples, where the Amente Sphere is now located. Okay, so this was Mug 102A, Blue Lotus Tether Activation 3, the Blue Lotus Amente Sphere Reconnect Activation. So this was taking place just like a week ago, basically. Right? C7, Chevron 7, Solar Ring Wave End Pop, and Solar Ring Wave 8 Out Picture. TJ6 ends. It's cleared. Transposition Platform 2, D6 opens, and Density 2, Happy Bubble 2, Seed 7 through 4 activate. And Guardian Alliance Upstep 38 to Hostmasters, just call them Nyack, which means Nomia, Eusethra, Urea, Alhambra councils. They're from Aurora 5 platform, M31 Eartha 3, the IAFW-CAIC 6520 AD. Now, IAFW and CAIC are something that you might remember from the Voyagers books. Interdimensional Association of Free Worlds and the Center for the Advancement of Interdimensional Communication from the year 6520 AD, located on M31 Eartha 3 surface. That is where the A5 platform is, and that's where this collective, the Nyaks, are from. And they're also from the Wycan. So this is the activation set that just happened. there was a whole bunch of things that occurred during that. We had the final Emerald Covenant of Aramatena Lyra restatement, Earth activates. The Blue Lotus Future Tether Activation 3, Blue Lotus Amente Sphere Reconnect activation. The Aquarian Hub Anshitesa Passage reopens on organic spin. And the only thing that could do that was the aphoria spectra of the Crystal Bridge Passage. So if it hadn't gone to the 5RRR concurrent activation, this never would have been able to be brought back. So it's very, very exciting that we are finally able to reopen all of the passages and things that had been compromised because of the progression of the Invisible War drama. So all of this has got to the point where, yes, Anastasia Passage can reopen, which means the Aurora Continuum can reopen. It can connect the external Amente gate sets through the Aurora Anastasia Passage gate sets into the Cathedral Plasma gate sets of the Eternals. So the Ascension passages are secured on the failsafe. Okay, here we have the A4 Adashi bypass reopens, the Amente Sphere M31 Adashi temples access. So 5/2023 to 3033 AD. And this connects to our Ephemera Freedom Seed 5, actually. So all of this was happening in May. It just got done happening. All right, let's see. M31 Sphere of Amente 3033 AD opens. The Mente sphere equals 550 million years ago, Earth's Ternicium 2 angelic human race morphogenetic field. Crystal Bridgeway 1, Florida, that's this location that we filmed from, to M31 Eartha 3, A4, Amente Sphere Adashi Temples opens. So this just opened here. So these are some of the activations you will be getting with the transmissions that we are giving this morning. And GA Upstep 38, Hostmasters, the NYYAC, Nomia, Usetra, Urea, Alhambra Councils of the A5 Eartha 3, Hastra, Nomia, Usetra Crystal Cities, and IAFW, CAIC 5220 AD, Eartha 3 surface. These are the same people that started the Guardian material way back in, well, I've been, since I was like 33, I've been working with them and they've been teaching me. But from the very beginnings of Voyagers Volume 1 and further, going forth, these were the 6520 AD, these were the crew that have been giving us this information all along. So it's coming full circle and it's opening the conduit back up to them. But this time it goes all the way through into the Aurora Continuum and then into the eternal internal creation domains. Okay, now, so that was 11A. 11B, here we are. That's today, this morning, June 4th, 2023. And they just gave me this stuff. Literally, I had no idea that was there. I knew something was running in the grids, and I thought it was just this stuff. But nope, apparently there's 3 other things that are coming. This is Mug 102B. It's called Spark of the Arc 1 transmission. That is what we're going to be, Jan and I will do a Neaedra stance to help amplify and transmit that to you so you can get it live as it's running through the grids. There will be another one. 11C is August 8th through 12th, 2023, Mug 102C. This is Spark of the Arc 2 transmission. That's also when the FOI, Flames of Uraeus 7, activates. So there'll be something that we will be doing in August. And then 12A is 11/8 through 9, 2023. Mug 103A, Spark of the Arc 3 transmission. And Crystal Bridgeway 1, Florida to M31 Eartha 3 surface, A5 opens. So Eartha surface opens directly. And that's coming in November of 2023. So these are the exciting things that we have to look forward to this year. This also goes into May of 2024, where we have Chevron 8 and Solar Ring Wave 9 out picture. This is where TJ7 ends. That's where all of the trumpets are cleared. All of the 7 trumpets and the 7 Jehovian seals have opened, activated, and have been neutralized by their corresponding chevron. So that's in May that we have to look forward to that, May of 2024. And then this is where the next column would start, is 12C. August of 2024, Mug 103C. This is the bright flower blooming 8-year cycle begins. So we're looking forward to that final column that they haven't given me to fill out yet, but that we have it on the larger one that shows the 4 columns, but we don't have a lot of information in it yet. So right now, this is what we're working on. We're right here, where we're going to do Spark of the Arc 1 transmission. That's what's running in the grids tonight, as well as all of these that began on May 22nd and have been running ever since. So we're getting this group of activations here, this morning when we will do it. So what I would like to do next was we are going to do get set up to do the actual transmission of the Spark of the Arc 1 transmission. And I'm going to take a little bit longer, and I'm going to just pull these back to get rid of the yellow highlights so we can actually read them. And I'll put them up really quick just to show you what it looks like, and then we'll go into the activation itself. Then there's a few other things that we were going to just speak about to round it out, to help kind of put into context what all of this means. Because basically what we're dealing with are 3 levels of host. We have the eternal host, which is the Crystal River fail-safe host. We have the one we started with, which was the Amente host. And then we have the crystal, what do they call it? The Trimatrix Starfire Crystal River host, which was host 2. So there are 3 hosts, each working a different part of creation. They are all blending together now. And it's very exciting to see all those pieces come together, because every one of those pieces, be it the crystal bridge passage that goes with the plasmas and the eternal internal creation, or be it the Antistasia passage that goes with the Aurora platforms, and you could call it the Aurora field is a blend field between external creation and the Rasha dark matter fields. So it is a blend field in between, and then you have the external creation and the Amareya passage and the Rama passages and the various passages that went with that, and the gate systems that go with each of them. What all of this means is they are all opening into each other progressively. And this is why the Guardians allowed things to go as far as they did, because in order to salvage the external and the Aurora, it had to go as far as it was going to go with the RRR5 reclamation cycle, which would open the aphoria spectra of the Crystal Bridge passage that would allow all the rest of it to be brought back around into its organic function. And that's basically what we're looking at and what we're moving through right now. So I was very excited when they showed me how those pieces fit, because they've been speaking about pieces of them all along for like a year or two, but not in a sequence that I could speak about or try to explain to you. So hopefully this is helping, at least. It's not the finish of it, but what this also tells us, though, and I'm like, yay, finally, we will have until this will be the end, this 12A, which is November of 2023, somewhere in this period will be the final Spark of the Arc 3 transmission, and that will mark the end of the 8-year workshop, KDDL3. And the beginnings of everything moving forward from that will be part of the Hostmasters series of web shops, which are going to be run differently than this was, because this is just like this seriously never-ending workshop, 8 years on one platform. That was pretty substantial. So we're looking forward to the new Hostmasters series that will come out after we finish the KDDL3 set, but this is what we were waiting for. We can get that final Spark of the Arc 3 in. That will open the conduit, the future tether line, back to the sphere of Amente through the Ark of the 3 stages of the Ark of the Covenant. And that is why they kept KDDL3 open as long as they have. So we're looking forward to the finally finish KDDL3 and start the new exciting information on Hostmasters, which is going to be all about working with the frequencies of these three hosts and how they work in the bodies together. It also means we'll be able to bring back the freedom teachings finally, because it will be safe to use them now that the 7 trumpets will be cleared. So it's really exciting, and I hope I hope I can convey some of the excitement that I feel about it, because literally for like 10 years we've been just about on radio silence, and that's very frustrating for a speaker who likes to speak. Yeah. So anyway, I hope this has helped. We're going to take a short break. It was going to be 15, but I think I'm going to go half hour because I have to print these out. All right, so if we do a half hour break, we'll be back and we will do the Spark 1 transmissions, Spark of the Arc 1 transmissions coming your way. Thank you for being here with us, and see you shortly. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Up on the board, what I have now is the charts that you saw before, but they were hard to read because of the highlighter function not being transparent enough. This is the charts for column 3 on the resolution 2 3-octant rounds chart. And this was the 8 of 2016 through 8 of 2024. Series. So this is it without the yellow, so you can actually see the words. I'm not going to read again all of them because I've read these at various times. Just wanted to point out this is where in 2017 is where the FOI 1 should have gone, but it didn't. It didn't release until 9 of 2018. But after that, the Flames of Urea frequencies release in the Hethalon periods, which is the August period of each of the years. So you had FOI 1 was delayed, then you had FOI 2 in 2018. You also had FOI 1 in 9 of 2018. That was the late one. So you have FOI 1, FOI 2, then 2019, FOI 3, 2020, FOI 4, 2021, FOI 5. Now what I want to also get back to up here a bit is looking at let me find them. It was the reason I had them highlighted was so I could find them faster, but that didn't work. So let's see, where are we? Give me a second. Okay. We'll get into the Chevron rescues and those kind of things, which have to do with Guardian Up Steps 31 through 34. We'll get into those at a different time. I'm not sure if they'll be in KDDL3 or if they'll be part of the Hostmasters thing, because there's very specific groups that were affiliated with those. Let me see. I can. Where is? I'm looking for a particular thing. Treaties. Where are we? Arc 1, 2. Here we go. Okay. Can you move it up to here so I can see this one here? Yep. There we go. Yeah. All right. So let's start with August of 2020. And that's that August of 2020 to August of 2021 period. So in 11 of 2020, Mug 90, that was TJ Firestorm 5. That was when the Arc 1 Caves A1 Aurora 1 platform opened. And that one opened into 2317 AD. So when we get the Spark of the Arc 1, first one, transmission, tonight, this morning, it's actually going to be coming from that time period from that platform, the A1 platform, Cave Cities of 2317 AD. So it's a future spark coming in that's from that time period. It also implies that when in the next couple of workshops or web shops, when we have Spark 2 and 3, they will correspond with Arc 2 and Arc 3 activations. Okay, so these will each be coming in from the time period associated with that arc, which is associated with the Aurora, corresponding Aurora platform. So I just wanted to point that out. So here we have the Arc 1 in 11 of 2020. Arc 1 came, opened, and in March of 2021, Mug 92, the Arc 2 Cloud Cities, A2 platform opened, and that opens to 2617 AD, so Spark 2 would correspond to that. And then we have May of 2021, Mug 93 ARC 3 Ocean Cities opened, which is the Aurora Platform 3. And that opens into 2976 AD, and Spark 3, ARC Spark 3, will correspond with 2976 AD. So I just wanted to point those out. So it's these periods here that we're dealing with the Blue Lotus and Mente treaties and the completion of the Amente host mission. And that's what the Blue Lotus Amente treaties are. They're the finishing of the 550 million years ago Amente host mission. All right, let's see. I think, yeah, can you just pull it down to the bottom? Yeah, and then again here, we just got through with this period, the May of 2023 MUG 102 period. We had all of these things open, which we'll look at on the larger charts that I also got the yellow off of, so it's easier to see. And then we'll go into August of 2023, and that's when we start the subcycle 16 and FOI 7 releases. And in 11 of 2023, MUG 103, TJ Firestorm 7, and Snap. Okay, so this is the series we're going through now that weren't put on the larger chart that shows all of the 4 columns together, because there's just too much information to put on that chart. Next one, please. Okay. This is that 12th primary current event, so the Blue Lotus Amente final Amente rescue mission. And this is it, the same thing that we read before, but this is without the yellow, so you can actually see the words. So I just thought I would put that up there so you can see them. I did pretty much read it before, so I'm just going to put it up here so you can see it. I'm not going to reread it. Can we bring it up a little bit? Just so, people that, want to be able to actually see the words, they're here. Okay, and then the next one, please. This is the second page of that, where it goes from 11A through 12C. 11A was May of 2023 that we just got through with, and this was all of these things happen. We had final Emerald Covenant restatement on Earth activates. The Blue Lotus Future Tether Activation 3, which is the Blue Lotus Amente Sphere Reconnect activation, occurred. The Aquarian Hub Ancestor Passage reopened on its organic spin for the first time since May of 2012. The A4 Adashi Bypass reopened. The Amente Sphere M31 Adashi temples are accessible as of 5/2023, and they correspond to 3033 AD. All right, so the Adashi temples, they correspond with the A4 platform, which is in M31 Earth, the 3 core, like the core areas, the core caverns, crystal caverns. That's where the Adashi temples are located, and that's where the Sphere of Amente has been put for safekeeping. The M31 Sphere of Amente, 3033 AD, opens. Crystal Bridgeway 1, Florida, this location, to M31 Earth, the 3 A4 Mente Sphere Adashi temples opens. So this place, this frequency here in real time, opens into the 3033 AD M31 Earth the 3 Amente, Sphere of Amente. Okay, and again, GA up step 38 was, we just call them Nyack, the Nomia, Eusethra, Urea, Alhambra councils. And they're actually of the A5 Earth the 3 platform, which is the Haustra, Nomia, Eusethra crystal cities of surface Eartha 3 in 6,520 AD. Okay, so here's the activation we're going to be doing in a little bit, which is 11B, June 4th, 2023, MUG 102B, spark of the ARC 1 transmission. I didn't have time to fill out the rest because they literally just gave me this right before we started. But this would be the 2317 AD spark, I believe, coming through on the A1 platforms. So that's what we're going to be transmitting this evening, or this morning, in a couple minutes, actually. So this is just the rest of the things. I'm not going to go over those again right now. We are right here. These frequencies are also part of the activation that's happening. They began in May 22 through 29 of 2023, which is the Hitharo period, and which we just got over with. So we're actually getting all of these activations simultaneously, but they're coming through on Spark of the Arc 1 transmission, 2317 AD. So what we're going to do for this, they haven't given me a written out technique or anything for this because they're just going to run it live. And a lot of times when they do that, they simply show me and we narrate as we go, and it's going to be something like that. It's not a hard one. It's just a breathing activation to pick up the spark, but they'll show me where because they're holding it. I can feel it. They're holding. Keep getting these little like tremors of frequency that run through. They're kind of like a little bit jittery, and they're trying to stabilize the wave while holding it so we can get together and Jan and I can do the Niedra stance. So we're going to get our chairs ready to do the Niedra stance. And in the meantime, if we can look over here, and these are okay, these are decorative, but these behind it are not decorative. These are, it's actually a triptych. There's one way down in the corner that we don't need to use right now, and that would go on the far side over there. This is the middle one, and this is the one on this side, so it would expand that way. These two are the frequencies that we're going to be using as a grounding background frequency. These are called together. It's a triptych that are called the Gathering, and it's a work in progress that began around the same time as the Flames of Urea paintings did. These were also pour paintings. And this has to do with lots of guardians coming in. I don't know if you can see them yet, but eventually that will be built out where you can actually see their faces as they're streaming in. And there's a frequency that comes in with this. So they're asking us to, while we move our chairs to get into the Niedra positioning, we're going to focus the camera on these, and these are fine. They're not going to get in the way. It's the background frequency that they're asking you if you want to pick up the activation more strongly. Just simply breathe in, look at your screen with that image on it, and just breathe in to the heart of Ephema point, right there below the breastbone, or below the rib cage, and just bring it into there, and then send it down into Earth Core No Me Seed, and then bring it back up to the heart of Ephema, and just push it all the way up through the Trentian window, all the way up, and just aim for Urale Conservatory. Just say to yourself mentally, Urale Conservatory 3 times. So you look at the image, bring an imprint of it just on the breath, into the heart of Ephema point, then exhale it down into Earth Core, No Me Seat, then up to heart of Ephema again, out through Trentian window, 36 inches above the head chakra 14, and all the way up to Urale Conservatory, Urale Conservatory, Urale Conservatory. And if you can play with doing that, we'll get our seating into the Niedra stance position, and then that will these frequencies that if you use that as an opener will begin the process, and we will simply transmit the frequencies of the spark, the arc spark 1, and any information they give us as far as telling us what to do with anything, because it's going to be one of those live run ones where I don't know what it is until it runs live, and sometimes there's words on them and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just breathing and transmitting the frequency to the camera so it gets out to you, and it is running live, and it is running live in the grids while we're filming this. So we're going to go do that, and if we can focus camera there. Remember, just breathe in to the heart of Ephema, breathe the image in, then exhale it down to Earth Core No Me Seed. Bring it back up to heart of Ephema, then exhale it up through the Trentian window, 36 inches above the head chakra 14, and up to Urale Conservatory, Urale Conservatory, Urale Conservatory. And leave it there, and that will open to receive the Spark of the Arc 1. Okay, let's get our